let's make these adorable Halloween charm earrings together. They are super fun, easy to make, and you can mix and match your favorite little charms. Pumpkins, ghosts, cats, you name it. So grab your beads and let's get creative. Today's video will be a little longer because I'll be showing you how to make all 5 of these adorable Halloween charms. To make it easier for you to following along, I've divided the video into chapters, so if you want to skip to a specific charm, just jump to that section. And at the end, I will show you how to put everything together into these cute earrings. Okay, so we start with this cute little pumpkin. You will need seed beads in 3 colors. These are the color codes, and the beads are TOHO Treasure. You can also use Delicas if you want. Then I'm going to use Fireline in crystal color, 0.12 millimeters, size 12 beading needle, and scissors or thread zip if you want. And we'll also need a wire guardian. Okay, so first I cut a piece of thread. I thread my needle. So I've printed out this pattern. You can find it in the video description below if you'd like to download it. I always start my brick stitch with 2 rows at once. You can check out the detailed tutorial linked above, but I will quickly show you here as well. So I'm starting with row 7 and 6. I'll make these 2 rows at once. So I pick up first 3 beads, and this will be these 3 beads. So 1, 2, and 3, like so, and I slide the beads down and leave a little bit of tail to weave it in later, and I just go with my needle through the first bead like this. And as you can see, it forms a little triangle, and it corresponds to this triangle. 1, 2, 3. So I will continue with this black bead. So I just pick up 1 black bead and I pass my needle directly through this bead. And pull tight. And continue in this zigzag way until the end of the row. So next we have 1 orange bead. So I go up, pull tight, another black bead, and go down. Go up with orange bead. Pick up another orange bead and go down. Now 1 black bead and go up. One orange bead and go down. Up. Now another black bead for the eye. Okay, so this is the row 7, this is the row 6, they are finished. And now we move to the row number 5, which will be here. And we will do a decrease, as you can see in the pattern. So at the start of the next following row, I always pick up 2 beads at once. So I pick up one orange bead and one black bead. And I will not go directly through the bead, but I will go under the thread bridge. So now I want to do a decrease, so I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge, like so. Now go with my needle through the black bead, directly through the bead. Down through the orange bead. And back up through the black bead. And pull tight. So the bead sits nicely in place. And now only one bead at once. Next bead is orange one. So I go with my needle under the next thread bridge. And go up through the orange bead. Just like this. And pull tight. Continue exactly the same way. So pick up one orange bead. And go with my needle under the next thread bridge. And then up through the orange bead. And pull tight under the next thread bridge. And up through the bead. Pull tight. Now one black bead for the eye. And the last bead in row 5. So I go under the last thread bridge. And back up through the bead. And the row number 5 is finished. And we will continue exactly the same way with row number 4. So we do a decrease again. So I pick up 2 orange beads, skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second one. Go up through the second bead, down through the first bead, and up through the second bead again, and pull tight. The bead is nicely in place, and continue to the end of the row. Row number 4 is finished, and now we need to make a double decrease in row number 3. That means I don't want my thread to come out of the very last bead, but from the one right before it. So from this one. So I go with my needle through this bead and down and back up. So my thread is coming out of the second bead. Now I can continue with row 3. So I normally pick up 2 beads, skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Go up, down, and back up, and pull tight. And this way I made a double decrease. And I will continue with the last bead in the row. And pull tight. In row 2 we have green beads, so I pick up 2 green beads and we do a normal decrease. So I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Go up through the second bead, down, and back up, and pull tight. And row number 1, there will be only 1 bead, so I pick up 1 bead and go right into this first green bead. Just like that. Now I need to add a wire guardian here, so I go with my needle up through this green bead. I take my wire guard and go with my needle through one side of the wire guardian. Slide it down to my beadwork and go with my needle through the other side, just like that. Go with the bead also and pull tight. And reinforce the connection again, so I go up through the green bead and wire guard again, and again through the wire guardian and through the bead. This way we'll create a nice sturdy loop that we can use later to attach earring hooks, clasp, or really anything else we like. So now I just weave my tail back in. It's very easy, don't do knots, just go back and forth through a couple of beads, make a circle around it, and it will be super secure. And cut off the excess thread. I will turn my beadwork upside down and go down so the thread is coming out of this edge bead. And we are ready to make row number 8 and continue just like normal. So I do a decrease again, so I pick up 2 orange beads, I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Go up and down And continue the same way until the end of the row. And now just weave the thread in. So I go with my needle back and forth through the beads. No need to make knots. Just go through the beads and change direction several times. And circle through the beads like this. And it will be super secure. And finally cut off the excess thread. And that's it, my little pumpkin is finished, and I think it's very cute. A little beaded gold charm. It's cute, spooky, and perfect for Halloween. You can hang it on your keys, your bag, or even turn it into earrings. Let's jump right in. Here's my pattern. If you want to download it, you can find the link in the description down below. We're gonna need seed beads in two colors. These are TOHO Treasure beads, and you can see the color codes on the screen right now. Then we need a beading needle. This is size 12. I'm gonna use my favorite thread, is Fireline in crystal color 0.12 millimeters, and scissors, or thread zap if you want, if you have, and a wire guardian. Okay, so let's get started. I got a piece of thread. I thread my needle. And I start with 2 rows at once. As usual, I'm gonna start with row number 6 and 5. So these 2 rows at once in a zigzag way. You can find a link to the full tutorial up here, but I will show you anyway. Okay, so first I'm gonna pick up 3 beads. These two, 1, 2, and 3. So 2 black beads and one white bead. Slide them down, and I leave a tail long enough to whip it in later. And I go with my needle through the first bead, just like that. And you can see it form a little triangle. And it corresponds to these 3 beads. So then I will continue with this white bead. So I pick up one white bead, and I go with my needle right through this white bead. And pull tight. And we'll continue in zigzag way until the end of the row. I pick up another white bead and go up through this white bead. And pull tight. Now it's time to add one black bead and go down. White bead and go up. White bead and go down. White bead and up. White bead and down. Now black bead. And last black bead in a row. So this is row 6 and this is row 5, and we will continue with row 4, and in this row you can see we do an increase. So I pick up 2 beads at once, one black and one white. And I will not go directly through beads, but I will go under the thread bridges. So I need to make an increase. So I go with my needle under the first thread bridge, just like that. Then I go up through the white bead, down through the black bead, and back up through the white bead. And pull tight. And as you can see, I made an increase this way. And I will continue with 4 white beads, one at a time. So I pick up one white bead and I go under the next thread bridge. And then go up through the bead. And pull tight. 3 more white beads. Pick up one, go under the thread bridge. And go up through the bead. And pull tight. 2 more beads. So I pick up one white bead, go with my needle under the thread bridge, and go up through the bead. And the last white bead, I go under the thread bridge again, and go up through the bead. Now I pick up one black bead, go under the thread bridge, and go up through the bead. Okay, and the row number 4 is finished, and we move on to the row number 3. In the start of the row number 3, you can see we do a decrease. So I pick up 2 black beads, and I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. This way I make a decrease. Go up through the second bead, go down through the first bead, and back up through the second bead. And continue with another black bead. I go with my needle under the thread bridge and go up through the bead. Pull tight and continue exactly the same way. One, two, three, four. So I need to add one more. Next, one white bead. And as you can see, we need to add one more black bead, and we have no thread bridge left. So how I do it? I pick up one black bead and I go with my needle directly through the bead, through the last bead of the previous row, just like that. And the row number 3 is finished. Now I need to move my thread up to make row number 2. In row number 2 we will do a decrease. So that means I can go with my needle just through these 2 white beads, and I will go under the first thread bridge. I don't need to go right away to the right. Pick up 2 black beads, and if my thread was coming out of the black bead for a decrease, I would insert my needle under the second thread bridge, but since my thread is already coming out of the white bead here, I'm going under the first thread bridge instead. Not like the first like this, but the first next to my thread. You know what I mean. So I go with my needle right under this thread bridge. Go up and down and back up. And it's time to make row number 1. It's only one bead, so I just go with my needle like this. And I reinforce the connection. Okay, so one half of the pattern is finished, and now I just weave the tail in. I'm not going to make any knots, I will just weave the thread in to secure it. and cut off the excess thread. Now I just move to this black bead, and I start row number 7. Pick up one black bead and one white bead, and I do a decrease, so I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Go up through the white bead, go down through the black bead, and back up through the white bead, and pull tight. Continue with 2 more white beads, so 1 bead at once, under the thread bridge, and go up through the bead, another white bead, and go up, 1 black bead for the eye, and go up through the black bead, another white bead, and finally 1 black bead. This is row number 7. Now we will make row number 8. Pick up 1 black bead and 1 white bead. Skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Then go up through the white bead, down through the black bead, and back up. And pull tight. 4 more white beads. So it's 1, go up, 3 more, and the last white bead. And I need to add 1 more black bead, and I have no thread bridge left. Pick up 1 black bead and go with my needle directly through the last bead of the previous row, just like that. I need to get my thread through this last black bead. So I go down 1 bead, and move back up. And in row number 9 I need to make an increase, so I pick up 1 black bead, 1 white bead, and because it's an increase I go with my needle under the first thread bridge. Go up through the white bead, down through the black bead, and back up through the white bead. Hold tight and continue with 5 black beads. Now I need to move to this black bead. Pick up 2 black beads and go with my needle under this last thread bridge. Go up through the black bead and down and up and pull tight. And the last bead, pick up the last black bead and go directly through this bead, just like that. And I reinforce the connection. Okay, so the ghost is finished. It looks really nice, I think. And it's time to add a wire guardian right here. So I go with my needle to the top of this head. Okay, now I just take a wire guardian and go with my needle through one side of the wire guard, slide it down, and go with my needle through the other side of the wire guard. And through the bead. So it looks like this, and now I just need to reinforce the connection. Through the wire guardian again. And now I just weave the thread in. And I just cut off the excess thread. When I was designing this pattern, I honestly had my doubts. It looked a bit weird at first, but I think the final result turned out really cute. What do you think? I've been so excited for this project. When I was designing my little Halloween charm series, this cat instantly became my favorite. It's just the cutest one ever. So let's get started. Here's what you will need. I have TOHO Treasure beads in 3 colors. You can see the color codes right here. Then I'm going to use my favorite thread, Fireline in crystal color 0.12 millimeters, beading needle size 12, scissors, or a thread zip if you want, if you have. I also need a wire guardian. Okay, so let's get started. I cut a piece of Fireline. It's about 50 centimeters. I thread my needle. As always, I'm starting with 2 rows at once. I will choose, for example, row 8 and 7, so I will make these 2 rows at once. I just find this way works best for me. If you'd like to see a full step-by-step tutorial on how to start brick stitch this way, I will link it right here, but of course I will also show you how I do it in this video. It makes the base so much sturdier and easier to work with than starting with 1 row. And I start by picking up these 3 beads, 1, 2, 3, so it makes this little triangle. All of them are black, so I pick up 3 black beads. And I slide them down. Leave it long enough to weave it in later. and I just go with my needle through this first bead, just like that. And as you can see, it formed this little triangle, and this little triangle corresponds to these 3 beads. Then I will continue with this yellow bead. So I pick up 1 yellow bead and go with my needle right through the bead, this one, and pull tight. Now it's time to add black bead. So I pick up black bead and go up through this yellow bead, orange, gold, I don't know. Then another one, yellow, gold, and go through this edge bead. Another black bead, pick up black bead and go down, another black bead and go up, black bead and go down, I just wanted to mention that I'm using white thread here so you can see everything more clearly on camera. Normally, if I were making this for myself, I would use Fairline in the color Smoke, but then you'd barely see a thing. So that's why I'm going with white this time. I pick another black bead and go up, another black, and go down through this bead, pull tight, another black bead, go up. It's time for another eye, so 1 yellow bead and go down, black bead and go up, yellow bead, go down, black bead and go up, black bead, go down, and the last bead in this row. So this is row 8 and this is row 7. And now we will continue with increase. I will show you how to do it. I pick up 2 beads. At the beginning of the new row, I always pick up 2 beads at once. In this case, row number 6, I pick up 1 black bead and 1 yellow bead. And I won't go directly through the beads, but I go with my needle under the thread bridges. So I need to make an increase, so I go with my needle under the first thread bridge. Hope you can see it. Pull tight. And then I go with my needle through the yellow bead, up, through the black bead, down, and up through the yellow bead. And pull tight. This is how I started row number 6. And then I will continue 1 bead at a time. So next bead is black bead. So I pick up 1 black bead. And again, I go with my needle right under the next thread bridge. And go up directly through the bead. And pull tight. Pick up another bead, it's yellow bead, go under the next thread bridge. And go up through the bead we just added. And pull tight. Black bead, go under the thread bridge. and up through the black bead, pull tight, another black bead, and up. This is how it looks so far. It's time to make the other eye. Pick up one yellow bead, go under the next thread bridge, and go up through the yellow bead, one black bead, and up through the bead, one yellow bead, under the thread bridge, and up through the bead. And as you can see, we need to add one more black bead, but we have no thread bridge left. I will show you how to do that. So I just pick up one black bead and I go with my needle directly through the last bead of the previous row. Just through the bead. And pull tight. Now I need my needle to come out of either the last, this one, or the second to last bead, this one. So for example, I will go with the last one, and I just need to pass my needle through it just like this. I go down, and I need to go back up. So my thread is coming out of this last bead. And in the row number 5, I'm going to do a decrease. So I pick up one black and one yellow bead. And to make a decrease, I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Then go up through the yellow bead, down through the black bead, back up through the yellow bead, and pull tight. Now I pick up one yellow bead and go with my needle under the next thread bridge and up through the yellow bead. Pull tight, one black bead, go under the thread bridge, up through the black bead, and pull tight. Another black bead, up through the black bead, another one black bead, up, now it's time to another yellow bead. So I pick up one yellow bead, go under the thread bridge, and go up directly through the bead, another yellow bead, and finally the black bead. And pull tight. Row number 5 is finished, and let's move on row number 4. And this row is all black, so I pick up 2 black beads and we do a decrease. So I just skip the first thread bridge and go in my needle under the second thread bridge. Then go up directly through the bead, go down, and up again, and pull tight. Pick up another black bead and go under the next thread bridge, up through the bead, and continue until the end of the row. Row number 4 is finished, and now let's move on to ears, row number 3. So I pick up one black bead and this cute pink, and I do a decrease, so I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Go up through this pink bead, down through the black bead, back up through the pink bead, and pull tight. Another one black bead, go under the thread bridge, and go up through the bead, and pull tight. I'll be making each ear separately, so now I'm moving up to row number 2. I pick up 2 black beads and I go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Go up through the second bead, go down and back up, and pull tight. And the last bead, I just go down through this black bead. And I reinforce the connection, so I go back up through this bead and go down, just like that. And let's move on onto the other ear. So I need that my thread is coming out of this bead. It's bead number 1, 2, 3, 4. So I go down, just pass through the beads, now pick up one black bead and one pink bead, skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge, is this thread bridge in the middle. Go up through the pink bead, down through the black bead, and back up through the pink bead, and pull tight. Pick up another black bead and go with my needle under the last thread bridge, and back up through the bead, pull tight. Pick up 2 black beads and go under the second thread bridge, up through the second bead, down through the first black bead, back up through the black bead, and pull tight. And the last bead, just go through this black bead and reinforce the connection. Now I just weave this tail in. There's no need to make any knots, so I just go with my needle through the beads back and forth and cut off the excess thread. Now I just move down with my needle so my thread is coming out of this bead like this. Okay, I flip it over so I can continue up, and I will continue with row number 9. So I pick up 2 black beads and I need to make a decrease, so I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Go up through the bead, back down, and back up through the bead and pull tight. 2 more black beads, so I go with my needle under the next thread bridge, and another black bead, now it's time to add pink bead for the nose. And continue with black beads until the end of the row. Now let's move on row number 10. It's all black and we will do a decrease again. So I pick up 2 black beads, skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Down and up and pull tight. In row number 11 we need to make a double decrease. So I just need that my thread is coming out of this second bead, just like this. So I move my thread. I go down through this bead, down one more, and back up. So my thread is coming out of the second bead. I pick up 2 beads and I skip the next thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Up, down, and up again, and pull tight. This is how I made a double decrease. Now add more 3 black beads. 1, 2, and 3. And the last row is double decrease again. So I need to move my thread to this bead. So I just go down and back up. So my thread is coming out of this second bead. And I pick up 2 black beads. I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second one. Is the second thread bridge through the end of the row. 1, 2, 3, 4 thread bridges, so it's the second to last. And I go up through the second bead, down through the first bead, back up, and pull tight. Okay, our cat is finished, and now I just need to add a wire guard. So I go back, so my thread is coming out of this bead in the middle. Now I put on a wire guardian, slide it down to my beadwork. I go with my needle through the other hole and through the next black bead, just like that. And I pull tight. And I reinforce the connection again, so I go up through the next black bead, back up through the wire guardian, and down again, and down through the black bead, and now I just weave the thread in, no need to make any knots. Just weave the thread in back and forth. And finally cut off the excess thread. And that's it. Our little Halloween cat charm is finished. Come make another one of my adorable Halloween charms with me. You will need seed beads in 3 colors. These are the color codes, and the beads are TOHO Treasure. You can also use Delicas if you want. Then I'm going to use Fireline in crystal color, 0.12 millimeters, size 12 beading needle, and scissors or thread zip if you want. And we'll also need a wire guardian. So I've got my pattern placed horizontally like this, which means we'll be switching sideways for now, but don't worry, we will flip it later so it's in the right orientation. And I'm gonna start with row 5 and 4, and I start with these 3 green beads, 1, 2, 3. So I pick up 3 green beads, slide them down, leave a tail so I can weave it in later. And I go with my needle through the first bead like this. So as you can see, it forms a little triangle, and this triangle corresponds to these 3 beads. So now I will continue with this orange bead. So I pick up 1 orange bead and go down through the bead. Pick up another orange bead and go up through the orange bead. And continue in zigzag way until the end of row 5 and 4. Another orange bead and go down. Up. Another orange bead and go down. Now pick up black bead and go up, pull tight, another black bead and go down, pick up orange bead and go up, and last 2 orange beads, go down, and the last one and go up. So this is the row number 5, it's finished, and we also finish row number 4. I'm working on these 2 rows at the same time because it's just easier to hold, more comfortable to stitch, and it makes the base look much neater overall. And now I can continue with row 3. As you can see, we need to increase. So that means we pick up 2 orange beads. I always pick up 2 beads at once at the beginning of each row. And I will not go through the bead, but I will go through the thread bridge. And because we need to increase, I will go through the first thread bridge. Just like this. Then I go up through the second bead. Down through the first bead. And back up through the second bead. And pull tight. And as you can see, the beads sit nicely in place. So I can continue with 1 black bead. So I just go with my needle under the next thread bridge. And then go up through the bead. Pick up 1 orange bead and go with my needle under the next thread bridge and up through the bead and pull tight. Next we have 1 black bead, so I go with my needle under the next thread bridge and up through the bead and pull tight. And the last bead in this row, it's orange bead, and do exactly the same. And up through the bead. And the row number 3 is finished. Now we will continue with row number 2, and we will do a decrease. Again, I pick up first 2 beads, and because we need to make a decrease, so I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Then go up through the second bead, down through the first bead, again up through the second bead, and pull tight so the bead sits nicely in place. Continue with 1 orange bead, so I go with my needle under the next thread bridge and up through the bead, pull tight, 1 black bead, and 1 orange bead, Now we can make the first row, and we make a decrease at the beginning of the row, so I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Go up through the second bead, down through the first bead, and back up through the second bead. Pull tight so it sits nicely in place, and continue with 2 more orange beads. So I go under the next thread bridge, up through the bead, and the last bead of row number 1, and up, pull tight. Now I weave the tail in, so I just go with my needle through a couple of beads and weave the thread in like this. No need to make any knots. And cut off the excess thread. Now I can continue with row 6, so I need to get my thread into this bead. Pick up 1 green and 1 orange bead, and we need to make a decrease, so I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second one. Go through the second bead, then through the first bead, and back up through the second bead, and pull tight. Pick up one orange bead and go under the next thread bridge, up through the bead, one more orange bead, one black bead, and one last orange bead. This is row number 6 and we'll continue with row number 7. I pick up 2 orange beads and I make an increase. So that means that I go with my needle under the first thread bridge. Just like this. Then go up through the bead, down, and up again. Following by one black bead, one orange bead, one black, and one orange. Continue with row number 8. 2 orange beads and decrease. So go with your needle under the second thread bridge. Go up, down, and up through the second bead again and pull tight. Orange bead, one black bead, and the last bead. Continue with row number 9, the last row, and decrease. So skip the first thread bridge and go with your needle under the second thread bridge. Up through the second bead, down through the first bead, and up through the second bead again, and pull tight. 2 more beads, so I pick up 1, go up, and the last bead, okay, this is how it looks finished, and we just need to add a wire guardian right here. So my thread is coming out of this green bead. I go with my needle through one side of the wire guardian, slide it down, go through the other side, and through the next green bead. Pull tight, just like this, and reinforce the connection again. And now just weave the thread in. And that's it. My little pumpkin is all done. It's really cute. Today we are making this adorable skull charm. We're gonna need seed beads in 2 colors. These are TOHO Treasure beads, and you can see the color codes on the screen right now. Then we need a beading needle. This is size 12. I'm gonna use my favorite thread, is Fireline in crystal color 0.12 millimeters, and scissors, or thread zap if you want, if you have, and a wire guardian. I cut a piece of Fireline and thread my needle. And I start with 2 rows at once. I start with row 5 and 4, and I do them together. First, I start by 3 beads, these 3 beads. So I pick up 3 white beads, 1, 2, and 3. I slide them down and leave a tail long enough to weave it in later. Then I go with my needle right through this first bead. And as you can see, it forms a little nice triangle. And it corresponds to these 3 beads. Next, I will continue with this one. So I pick up 1 white bead and I go with my needle directly through this bead. And pull tight. Pick up another white bead and go up through this bead. And again pull tight. And continue in this zigzag way until the end of the row. Next we have 1 black bead. So I pick up 1 black bead and go directly through this bead. White bead and go through the black bead. White bead and go down. 1 black bead and go up. White bead and go down. And the last bead in a row. So this is the row number 5 and this is the row number 4. They are finished, and we will continue up with row number 3. So I just go in my needle up so that my thread is coming out of this second bead. I pick up one white bead and one black bead. I always start a new row with 2 beads at once. And I will not go through the bead, but I will go under the thread bridge. So I go with my needle under this second thread bridge. This is the first, this is the second, then this is the third. And then I go up directly through the black bead, down through the white bead, and up through the black bead. And pull tight. Now I will continue one bead at a time. So I pick up one white bead. I go with my needle under the next thread bridge and then go up directly through the white bead and pull tight. Pick up another white bead and go directly with my needle under the thread bridge and go up through the white bead. And continue the same way. So I pick up one white bead, go with my needle under the thread bridge and go up through the bead. Now it's time to add one black bead the same way with my needle under the thread bridge and go up through the bead. One more black bead and go up. And the last bead in a row is white, so I go with my needle under the thread bridge again and up directly through the bead. So the row number 3 is finished, and we will continue with row number 2. At the beginning of the row number 2 we will do a decrease. So I again pick up these 2 beads, white and black. And because my thread is coming out of this last bead, I need to skip one thread bridge when I want to do a decrease. So I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. This way I do a decrease. I go up through the black bead, down through the white bead, and again up through the black bead and pull tight. Now I continue with white beads, so I pick up one white bead, I go with my needle right under the next thread bridge and through the bead, pull tight, and 2 more white beads the same way, and up, one more, row number 2 is finished, and move on to the next row. It's all white, so I pick up 2 white beads, and it's decrease again, so I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge, up through the second bead, down through the first bead, and up through the second bead and pull tight. Pick up another white bead and continue the same way. And the last bead in a row. And up. Okay, one half of the pattern is done. And now I just weave the tail in. I just weave it in, go through a couple of beads. No knots are needed. I go with my needle back and forth. And then cut off the excess thread. Now I can continue with row number 6. I need to get my thread here, so that's coming out of this edge bead. And in row number 6 I do a decrease again, so I pick up 2 beads, 2 white beads. I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second thread bridge. Then I go up through the white bead, down through this white bead, and back up and pull tight. Next I pick up 1 black bead under the thread bridge, up through the black bead, and continue with 3 white beads. One, 2, and 3. Now 1 black bead, and 2 more white beads. And the last bead in the row. And as you can see, we have no thread bridge left. So I go in my needle directly through the last bead of the previous row. Directly through the bead. And that's it. Now I need to go back up and decrease in row number 7. My thread is already coming out of the second bead, so I go with my needle under the first thread bridge. I pick up 1 white bead and 1 black bead, and I go with my needle under this first thread bridge next to this thread. I go up through the black bead, down through the white bead, and again up through the black bead, and pull tight. Now continue with 3 white beads. Two black beads. And 1 white bead. Now row number 8, 1 white and 1 black. Skip the first thread bridge and go under the second one. Up through the black bead. Down through the white bead. And back up through black. And pull tight. Continue with 3 white. And finally row number 9, it's only 4 white beads. So I start with 2 white beads, I skip the first thread bridge and go with my needle under the second one. And up. And 2 more beads. It's 1. And 2. Okay, and the skull is finished and it's time to add a wire guardian. So I need to go with my needle so that's coming out of this bead. I pick up wire guardian, slide it down to my beadwork, and go right through the white bead again. And reinforce the connection one more time. And finally I can weave the thread in. So I just go through a couple of beads. There is no need to make any knots. I make a little circle around the bead so it's super secure. And I can cut off the excess thread. And our little skull charm is done. I think it turned out so cute, spooky, but still adorable, right? Okay, so let's put everything together now that all our charms are ready. So you will need some earring findings of your choice. I went with these triangle-shaped ones, but feel free to pick the style you like the best. Then I will need a piece of chain, at least 30 centimeters for both earrings. You will also need a few jump rings. Mine are all mixed together right now, but I'll be using the silver ones for this project, of course. And some pliers. I have chain nose pliers, front nose pliers, and side cutter. Okay, so we have 5 charms, so I will cut 5 pieces of chain. One will be 5 centimeters long, then 4, 3, 2, and 1. Of course, you don't have to do it exactly like I did. Feel free to arrange yours however you like. So I cut the first one. It's 5 centimeters long. Then I will cut 4. Three, 2, and 1. And I take a little small jump ring, it's 4 millimeters. I open it with my pliers and put on a chain and add a charm and close the jump ring. So one string is ready. And the same way I prepare the rest of them. Now I take a slightly bigger jump ring, it's 5 millimeters. I open it with my pliers and I add all of the charms. And finally add an earring component and close the jump ring. And of course add an ear nut. And that's it, our Halloween earrings are finished. I absolutely love how they turn out. They are cute, spooky, and so much fun to make. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It really helps me a lot. Fun fact, only 18% of the people who watch my videos are actually subscribed. So if you are one of the 82% who are not yet, here's your sign. Hit that subscribe button and let's keep creating together. See you next time, bye!